Hi everyone, I'm Kosti.
Hey, I'm Christy.
Sorry, I'm smiling because we started recording and then Christina was moving things around, so I was just waiting. Uh, Hello, welcome. This is BoJack Horseman. We are on season 5, episode 6. So halfway through season 5.
I thought it was 7.
No. Am I doubting myself? No, episode 6.
Okay.
So last time, what happened last time? Can you remember?
Are you asking me because you can't remember?
No, I can't remember. Thought I'll test you.
Todd was involved.
No, yeah, but he's in most of the episodes, so be more specific. It was a Princess Caroline episode.
Oh yeah, we were looking back at her family history, her past, and how much hard life that she had.
Yeah.
And that her mum was an alcoholic.
Yeah. And where she grew up and she got pregnant by, I think the guy was a fox, wasn't he? I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
she was part of the hired help.
Yeah.
And she lived in a very small house with her family on the grounds of this wealthy family.
Yeah.
And it was the wealthy family's son that knocked her up.
Yeah. But sadly, she had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And
her mum blamed her.
Yeah, horrible thing to do. Imagine somebody must be, especially that she, well, I don't know that moment in time if she really wanted the baby, but even though she was going ahead with it, and imagine having something like that happen to you, to be made put the blame on you, it's just insane, crazy thing to do.
Really bad.
Beautiful episode, the way it ended as well, with her getting onto the plane and flying off, very similar to the film she was watching featuring, what's the woman's name? The woman who was flying the plane.
Oh, Amelia.
Yeah, featuring Amelia. It was a very well made episode.
Yeah, so the reason why we saw her pass was because Princess Caroline went back to her hometown.
Yeah.
Because she was thinking about adopting a baby from the same hometown. So she was going past her family home and it was all to wreck and ruin. But yeah.
I think she came across as too, she was not trying to bullshit her way through it. But
she was at her job. Her phone would constantly be ringing.
Yeah.
And she'd literally be trying
but I think
to get them off the phone.
she was treating that as the whole thing as a sale, really, instead of taking a step back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just because she really wanted it. So yeah, and sadly the lady in the end said she won't.
She was going to keep the baby and not.
Yeah.
Or find other people.
Yeah. But yeah, good episode.
Mm-hmm. Wait, did we see Todd?
Yeah, Todd. He's like one of the managers or whatever.
Oh, the clock place.
Yeah, the what time is it right now.com or whatever. And
Mr. Peanut Butter, wasn't he doing his presenting? Was that another episode?
No, he's basically starring in Filbert now, and everybody really liked him.
That's it.
And then BoJack was getting a little bit upset that no one's paying attention to him, the big star, and he got into an accident. Remember, a motorcycle? He
fell off the building onto a car because Princess Caroline was supposed to sort it, so he wasn't doing his own stunts.
Yeah,
but she forgot.
But in the end,
now he's in hospital.
Yeah, in the end, he was kind of happy because everybody was treating him nicely because he was in the hospital. So I guess we're carrying on from there. Shall we make a start?
Mm-hmm.
As always, we're ahead on our Patreon if you're interested. And if you enjoy our content, make sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. This is season 5, episode 6.
Why did you raise your hand then?
I don't know. Subscribe.
I would definitely take free churro if it was offered. Dairy free.
Yes, I see you. Get in.
Kid BoJack.
Looks like his dad didn't pick him up on time.
Your mother's having another one of her episodes. I emerged from my sanctum this afternoon to discover that not only had she not made me lunch, which is a meal I need in order to live, but she'd furthermore locked herself in the bedroom to weep. Now, it's one thing for a woman to weep, but when they do it at such a volume you can hear it through the door, that's when you know they're doing it just for the attention. I was able to cobble together a sandwich for myself, so I'm the real hero of the story.
The irony, he's rolling his eyes himself to that story.
Yeah.
Most days, I can't concentrate because my idiot child is blasting the television, and it suddenly dawned on me. Hot cock on a rock, she never even picked up the little noise and snot factory. Here I am, being your mother, which I know is giving you all sorts of mixed up ideas about gender while your brain is still loose and stupid. Just remember, if you become a queer later in life, this isn't my fault.
He's such a bad parent.
Pearls are for ladies.
And bad horse person.
Some days are the one day that are just for me and my craft.
So self-centered.
I'm out of the zone now. The whole day's shot. All because of you and that brittle wisp of a woman you made the mistake of making your mother. She's doing the best she can, after all. It's just that you can't depend on women. Sooner or later, you need to learn that no one else is going to take care of you. Good for you to know that. And she's a good mother for teaching you that. You got a head start on most kids. You're actually very lucky. Thank you.
That's interesting dialogue between him and his dad. Some interesting things he was saying, and I guess I don't know, comes across as a big arrogant asshole.
Every time I see scenes like that of his childhood, I just think it makes so much sense. He is the way he is.
Yeah.
It doesn't excuse him for the bad decisions he's made. However, it's understandable.
I always found that sentence interesting as well when he said, like, he made the mistake of making Beatrice his mother, which is so interesting because it's the other way around. It's not like she becomes a mother by giving birth. It's not like he gets her as a mother afterwards. I don't know. It's just interesting and written.
I took it in the way of BoJack chose her because he was the sperm that went. I think that's what maybe he was meaning, which makes it's just crazy. No sense.
But when this girl at the Jack in the Box asked me if I was having an awesome day, I thought, well, today I'm actually allowed to feel shitty. Today I have a good reason. So I said to her, well, my mom died. And she immediately burst into tears. So now I have to comfort her, which is annoying. And the girl apologizes again, and she offers me a free churro with my meal. And as I'm leaving, I think, I just got a free churro because my mom died. No one ever tells you when your mom dies, you get a free churro. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. This is the funeral?
Okay, here we go.
His mom's actually dead.
I am BoJack Horseman.
Why did I think that his mum died ages ago? Of course she didn't. She was in the home.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
You know, I was a little worried I wouldn't have the right accompaniment today. I guess it's a good thing my mom was an organ donor. What happened to the organ? Why don't you just leave the comedy to the professionals, okay? This is a funeral, sir, for my mother. Could you show a little respect? No, I'll take it. Who was she? What was her deal? Well, she was a horse. She was born in 1938. She died in 2018. One time she went to a parade, and one time she smoked an entire cigarette in one long inhale. Now what? I don't know. Mom, you got any ideas? Anything? Nothing to contribute? Knock once if you're proud of me. Can I just say how amazing it is to be in a room with my mother and I can just talk and talk without her telling me to shut up and make her a drink? Hey, Mom, knock once if you think I should shut up. I mean, I don't want to embarrass you by making this eulogy into a melogy. Seriously, if you wanted me to sit down and let someone else talk, just knock once. I will not be offended. No? You're a funeral. Sorry about the closed casket, by the way.
It's so well written.
You know, she's dead now, so who cares what she wanted? If she could have seen what she looked like, Dad, she'd agree it's better this way. She looked like this. Here's a story. When I was a teenager, I performed a comedy routine for my high school talent show. There was this cool jacket that I wanted to wear because I thought it would make me look like Albert Brooks. For months, I saved up for this jacket. But when I finally had enough, I went to the store and it was gone. So I went home and I told my mother and she said, let that be a lesson. That's the good that comes from wanting things. She was really good at dispensing life lessons that always seemed to circle back to everything being my fault. On the day of the talent show, my mother had a surprise for me. She had bought me the jacket. Even though she didn't know how to say it, I knew this meant that she loved me. Now that's a good story about my mother. It's not true, but it's a good story, right? From an episode of Maude I saw when I was a kid where she talks about her father. I remember when I saw it thinking, that's the kind of story I want to tell about my parents when they die. But I don't have any stories like that.
That's sad.
I kept waiting for that, the proof that even though my mother was a hard woman, deep down, she loved me and cared about me and wanted me to know that I made her life a little bit brighter. Hey, Mom, Knock once if you love me and care about me and want me to know that I made your life a little bit brighter. My mother did not go gentle into that good night. She went clawing and fighting and thrashing. Hence the face. If you'd seen her, I swear to God, the only thing you'd be thinking about right now is that I am nailing this impression. I was in the hospital with her those last moments. But there was this moment, this one instant of strange calm, where she looked in my direction and said, I see you. It's the last thing she said to me. I see you. Let me tell you, it's a weird thing to feel at 54 years old, that for the first time in your
It's
life,
54.
it's an odd realization that that's the thing that you've been missing, the only thing that you wanted all along, to be seen. It turns out that you knew what I wanted, and you waited until the very last moment to give it to me. I was prepared for more cruelty. I was sure that she would get in one final zinger about how I let her down and about how I was fat and stupid and too tall to be an effective Lindy Hopper, how I was needy. And
What's a Lindy Hopper?
I'm not sure. If anybody knows, let us.
Is it something American?
Sounds American, yeah.
maybe it wasn't about connection. Maybe it was an I see you, like, I see you. You might have the rest of the world fooled, but I know exactly who you are. That's more my mom's speed. She was pretty out of it at the end there, so maybe it's dumb to try to attribute it to anything. Back in the 90s, I was in a very famous TV show called Horsing Around. Please hold your applause. And I remember one time a fan asked me, in all the shots of the horse, you can see a paper coffee cup on the kitchen counter, but in the shots of Ethan, the coffee cup's missing. Was that because the show was making a statement about the fluctuant subjectivity of memory and how even two people can experience the same moment in entirely different ways? And I didn't have the heart to be like, no, man, some crew guy just left their coffee cup in the shop. So instead I was like, yeah.
That's funny.
Maybe we're dumb to try to pin significance onto every little thing. Maybe when someone says, I see you, it just means, I see you. My dad died about 10 years ago of injuries he sustained during a duel. When your father dies, you ask a lot of questions. Questions like, wait, did you say he died in a duel? Who dies in a duel?
That's the exact same question you had.
Dad spent his...
Well, it makes sense because, like, in duels, it reminds you when people on the horses and they've got the...
Oh, yeah.
And he was a horse, so...
So my father, ever the proud Mary, decided he would not stand for this besmirchment of his honor.
This is a super long eulogy.
Yeah.
So he demanded satisfaction in the form of pistols at dawn. He wrote the paper this letter saying anyone who didn't like his book, he would challenge to a duel. Anyone in the world. He'd even pay for airfare to San Francisco and a night in a hotel. Well, eventually this found its way to some kook in Montana who was as batshit as he was, and he took him up on the offer. But in the middle of the 10 paces, Dad turned to ask the guy if he'd actually read the book and what he thought. But not looking where he was going, tripped over an exposed root and bashed his head on a rock. I wish I'd known to go to Jack in the Box then. Maybe I could have gotten a free churro. My darling mother gave the eulogy. My entire life, I never heard her say a kind word to or about my father, but at his funeral, she said, my husband is dead and everything is worse now. I don't know why she said that. Maybe she felt like that's the kind of thing you're supposed to say at a funeral. Maybe she hoped one day someone would say that about her.
I'm surprised you don't have a photo of her.
Yeah, true.
Usually they do.
But he said it was... She wanted an open casket, so maybe that's why they didn't need the photo.
They didn't do it because
But he's just said she's dead now, so it doesn't matter what she wanted. So she's not doing an open casket.
When I say something funny to my mom, how about you give me one of those rim shots? Yeah, but not now when I say something funny. Like, okay, what's the difference between my mother and a disruptive expulsion of germs? One's a coffin fit, and the other fits a coffin. That's an example of a funny thing. Thank you. Let's try again. What's the difference between my mother and a bunch of Easter eggs? One gets carried in a basket, the other gets buried in a casket. Ready for one more?
It's so dark.
What's the difference between a first-year lit major and my mother? One is decently red, and the other is a huge bitch. Got a little too far with that one. That one might have been a little too. My mom's a huge bitch for the room. You're not a huge bitch. You were a huge bitch. And now you're dead.
Bloody hell.
She used to put on these shows with her supper club in the living room, and she used to make me sing the Lollipop song. There were skits and magic acts and ethnically insensitive vaudeville routines, and the big finale was always a dance my mother did. Dad hated the parties. He'd lock himself in the study and bang on the walls for us to keep it down. We always came out to see Mom dance and watch in awe as this cynical, despicable woman he married took flight. We understood each other in a way, me and my mom and my dad, as screwed up as we all were. My mother, she knew what it's like to feel your entire life like you're drowning, with the exception of these moments, in which you suddenly remember you can swim.
Ah, wow. You see the silhouette of her dancing, that was quite nice.
But then again, mostly not. Mostly you're drowning. She understood that too. And she recognized...
I just feel like he'll see like little glimmers of hope and like nice memories he has, and then it's so quickly flips it and comes straight back down crashing with something to back it up. It's negative.
You know, the
It's
weird
quite
thing
sad,
about both
really.
your parents being dead is it means that you're next. I mean, you know, obviously, it's not like there's a wait list for dying. Any one of us could get run over by a Snapchatting teen at any moment. You would think that knowing that would make us more adventurous and kind and forgiving, but it makes us small and stupid and petty.
Yeah.
I actually had a near-death experience recently. A stunt went bad and I fell off a building. I'm an actor.
Oh yeah, he's some fun.
Yeah, he's fine now.
You know what I thought when I was falling off that building and I went into panic mode? The last thing that my stupid brain could come up with before I died, won't they be sorry? Cool thought, brain. No, that wasn't... I went back, all right? I don't even know what I wanted to be sorry. I used to be on this TV show called Horsing Around. Seriously, though, hold your applause. Well held. Written by my friend Herb Kazaz, who's also dead now. And it starred this little girl named Sarah Lynn.
Who's also
These
dead.
orphans. And early on, the network had a note. Maybe don't mention they're orphans so much because audiences tend to find orphans sad and not relatable. I always thought they were lucky because they could imagine their parents to be anything they wanted. Anyway, we did this one season finale where Olivia's birth mother comes to town. She was a junkie, but she's gotten herself cleaned up and she wants to be in Olivia's life again. Anyway, the horse tries to warn her. Be careful. Moms have a way of letting you down. Olivia just thinks the horse is jealous. And when the mom says she's moving to California, Olivia decides to go with her. And the network really juiced the cliffhanger. Is Olivia gone for good? Of course, because it's a TV show, Olivia's mother had a relapse and had to go back to rehab. So Olivia had to hitchhike all the way home, getting rides from Mr. T, Alf, and the castle. You can't have happy endings in sitcoms, not really, because if everyone's happy, the show would be over. And above all else, the show has to keep going.
That's what his mom used to say to him, the show must go on, you know? When he made him sing the song.
Is this going to be the whole episode?
Seems like it. It's just a eulogy.
Just his eulogy.
But I keep going back to that moment in the ICU when she looked at me and I see you. I see you. Jesus Christ. We were in the intensive care unit. She was just reading a sign. My mom died and all I got was this free churro. You know the shittiest thing about all of this? Is when that stranger behind the counter gave me that free churro, that small act of kindness showed more compassion than my mother gave me her entire goddamn life. I'm your son. All I had was you. I have this friend, and right around when I first met her, her dad died. And months later, she told me that she didn't understand why she was still upset because she never even liked her father. It made sense to me because I went through the same thing when my dad died, and I'm going through the same thing now. It's like that show Becker, you know, with Ted Danson. I watched the entire run of that show hoping that it would get better, and it never did. It had all the right pieces, but it couldn't put them together. And when it got canceled, I was really bummed out. Not because I liked the show, but because I knew it could be so much better, and now it never would be. And that's what losing a parent is like. Suddenly you realize you'll never have the good relationship you wanted. As long as they were alive, even though you'd never admit it, part of you was still holding on to that chance. And you didn't even realize it until that chance went away. My mother is dead. And everything is worse now. It's good to know that there is nobody looking out for me. That there never was, and there never will be.
That links into what his dad was saying at the beginning.
Well, no point beating a dead horse. Beatrice Horseman was born in 1938 and she died in 2018, and I have no idea what she wanted. Unless she just wanted what we all want. To be seen. Is this funeral parlor B?
And the music as well. It's not.
I really wondered why they didn't show who else was in the room, and I was really curious to think how many people are actually there, like who's actually at her funeral. And when they turned it, I was like, why are they all lizards? Like, and it didn't click. It could be the wrong funeral. I'm looking forward to seeing my face back.
How incredible is that episode? A whole episode where it's just a eulogy. Mm-hmm. And the writing for that episode is brilliant.
How they interlinked past conversations with his mum, with his dad, things he's like learnt in life. The fact that he finally thought he was validated by his mum at the last thing she said to him, saying, I see you. And the fact then by talking through all this with everyone, that it wasn't that, she was reading a sign.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. Like,
you know, I forgot because I didn't realize until we started recording that we're watching this episode. I know you have a top that says "I see you." I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, it's cheerleading world.
Yes, cheerleading.
International Cheerleading Union.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should wear that T-shirt, but I totally forgot that we're watching that episode. But yeah, a lot of the jokes, you know, very dark.
Mm. I found like he was going around in loops as well when he was like figuring things out and like putting things together.
Yeah.
And like talking through his life and his work and his home life. And you can hear him repeating and going around in them circles and then it clicking in certain ways. It's really sad. Like, I feel for the guy. I'm sure all you guys do too, but
some of the writing was so dark though, like, and it's so real as well. Like, you know, when he was saying about when your parents die, you know, you're thinking like you're the next in line and things like that. It's so scary.
Because the next generation, that's what I was trying to say, but it's very dark. You know, the thing that really got me, I don't know if I can even say it because I feel like I'm going to cry. I don't know if I can say it.
No, I think I know about him talking like if you lose a parent, like you will never know if it could ever be improved or, you know, your relationship with them. Because that's the end, you know, you'll never speak with them ever again and you never know if that...
It's not even just that. That's part of it. But the other part was the glimmer of hope. You always hope that your relationship could be improved, and the fact that little tiny piece of hope you cling on to is... You hope one day.
Yeah.
And you still wish throughout your life that your parent can be who you see with all the other parents are like with their children, and you never have that.
Yeah.
It really hits hard.
Yeah, he compared it to Becca, I think, the show. I've never seen it.
No, I've not seen it either, but I think it was really moving.
Yeah.
Doing that. I nearly went. I'm gone more now. I'm talking about it, but yeah, it's true. It's so true. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, outstanding episodes out of all the seasons. I think it's one of the strongest episodes. It reminded me in a way, I guess, in that episode where he goes on the water, fish on the water, because this episode is very different from other episodes in the season. You know, like it's just literally him doing eulogy and that's it. And then like in the one where he's fish on the water, you know, it's him with no dialogue.
Yeah, it's very
similar. And it's also very opposite because there's no dialogue in that one and there's loads of dialogue of him in this one.
Yeah.
But outstanding episode. I think it's amazing. So R.I.P. Beatrice, 2018.
It was really funny that it didn't click for me at the start.
Yeah.
That she died. Like, I know they didn't, like, he was in a suit and he was just kind of talking for a little while, but then even when he said, "Oh, my mum's died," it's like in my head that she'd already died.
Yeah. So when they did the zoom out and they showed him and the casket, you're like, oh.
Yeah, it took me a while to click with that one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe because we haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably because you didn't see her in a while and you kind of forget a little bit about her. Because obviously the last appearance of her was like at the end of last season, and now we're like halfway through the season, and I don't think there's any mention to her. But yeah, show ended there. Awesome. As always, guys, thank you so much for hanging around, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.